Hey guys, Chris here with episode 5, I think, of the Crochet Cryss podcast. And if you're a new viewer, my sister Lisa and I own a yarn store in Mount Laurel, New Jersey called A Knit Sheep. And this is where I talk about all my crocheting things. The box you just saw, I'm trying this thing where I record my thumbnail at the beginning of my video so that it's easier to find. So bear with me. I swear I should just rename this podcast Crochet Cryss. Bear with me. This is going to be a pretty quick one just because it is Memorial Day weekend, but I didn't want to lose my momentum, so I wanted to go ahead and put something out. So first things first, as you know, I'm still working on my sweater. About halfway done with the back. Just finished my second skein, but I haven't done any more work on it in a couple of days because I have to wind my other two skeins. So I'm using Machete Shop yarn in the color Red Dragon, and this is their simple sock base, and this yarn is fabulous. It feels wonderful. I cannot wait to wear this sweater. I don't know when, but I'll probably throw it on for like a few minutes in the heat just to take a picture of it when it's done. I've made a couple of design decisions about it, so I'm actually really excited about how it's going to look when it's done, if all of my design decisions come together. So really all I have to talk about right now are maker plans, and then I have my unboxing of my Jimmy Beans wool indie dyed club. I can't believe it came so fast, so I'm like super excited. So I have two things that, I'm already thinking about my next make, which seems a little premature maybe, but I don't want, again, it's about not losing that momentum. So I kind of like being able to roll from one project to the next. And let us talk about what's coming up. So you know that I had just barely started the Rainbow Smile sweater, and I was using the Yakagani Yak Sock yarn with, the plan was to use these mini skeins. I'll just take a few of them out. Eee, they're so pretty. So that was they're pastel rainbow mini skeins, and I have them in 7 colors, and the plan was to do, if you haven't seen the Rainbow Smile sweater, it's just a basic sweater with a chevron pattern on the front, and that chevron pattern is done in rainbow stripes. So when I decided not to work on that anymore, I really wanted to come up with something that would use both the gray yarn and the mini skeins together, because I really like how they look together, and I think I've come up with something. Now, I know I've been talking a lot about not using patterns, but I still have like a huge trove of patterns. I have pattern books, I have patterns I purchased on Ravelry, I have free patterns I downloaded from websites like redheart.com and lionbrand.com, and it is not my intention to just kind of disregard all of the patterns that I've ever liked, right? So I'm trying to figure out ways to make those patterns still work for me. So I recently saw a pattern on redheart.com. Let me see, I have my iPad here. Trying to make this picture big. Okay. Look at that. That is called the Must Have Crochet Mitered Tunic. And I think it's really cute, but I also think it has a couple of tiny little issues. I have mentioned previously, and you will probably get sick of hearing me say it, but I'm not the biggest fan of designs that are all double crochet, just every row double crochet back and forth. You pair that with a worsted weight yarn and you kind of lost me at hello, right? So that's what you have here. I don't know which Red Heart yarn this uses, but if you can see, that is all double crochet. That is worsted weight yarn. And I'm not even crazy about these colors, but this design just kind of stuck in my head. And I haven't done a mitered square before, although seems like it's basically just half a granny square. So in a way, in a certain way of thinking, I don't think it's going to be a problem. So I think I'm going to make this with my Yakagini yarn and my mini skeins. The plan is to actually make, so I don't know if you can see, but basically the whole bottom of the tunic, like from the bust down, is a giant mitered square. And then you just crochet back and forth in even rows across the top, and then you do the sleeves, right? Super simple, super cute. My plan is to make most of this mitered square with the mini skeins. So I would be doing rainbow stripes. Each section of the square would be a different color, and then the rest of the body would be my gray Yakagini yarn. That is the plan. However, so I'm changing the yarn. It's going to be fingering weight yarn. I'm going to make it something akin to a colorwork design. I don't know if just striping is even considered color work at this point, but I'm changing the yarn. I'm making it kind of sort of color work. I'm also going to change the stitch pattern. I'm not going to do all double crochet. I have a plan. We'll see. I don't want to say what stitch I'm going to use yet, because if it comes out well, it's going to be super cute, and I would rather just show it to you than tell you about it. So we'll see. I don't plan to start it yet until I really either finish the off-road sweater or just get a little bit further along, maybe have the front and the back seamed. But I think I do need to play around with the mitered square a little bit just to make sure I get the look that I want. So I might be able to show that to you fairly soon. But I think it's going to be a really cute design. Again, you know, if and when I finish it, don't know when I'm going to get to wear it. I don't know why I'm making all these sweaters in May and June, but I'll be ready for fall, right? That said, I do want to make something that I'll be able to wear a little bit sooner. So the other candidate for my next project is going to be made out of this. It's called Ella Rae Rustic Silk. It's a fingering weight 100% silk yarn, and I think we have it in like maybe 8 colors in the store, and I'll try to show you several of these colors. Right, you get the idea, right? Maybe I'll throw a picture of these up online somewhere. That's another nice one. Look at that. So when we got this yarn, I fell in love with it immediately. And I think I had posted on the store's Instagram account something like, oh, I'm going to fade the living daylights out of these. And I immediately bought the crochet fade pattern, and I even started working on it. And I have to say, I wasn't entirely crazy with how it was coming out. But I'm not even going to show it to you. It's kind of hideous. But again, I was running into that wall where I just didn't want to be bothered with this pattern. I didn't want to turn to it every row. I was going to say every effing row. I didn't want to turn to it every row and have to be told what to do and have to make sure my stitch count matched. And it just kind of fell victim to my general malaise concerning patterns. And I set it aside, and it's been in a bag in my room for months, just kind of sitting there staring at me and silently judging me. So I really wanted to do something with this yarn, and initially I thought to make just a simple tunic dress that would have just like some very basic waist shaping. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, if I make a dress, you know, you make your dress, you wear your dress, and that's it. But if I make something that's more of an accessory, I'll get to wear it more often. I'll get to wear it with more outfits. So I think I'm just going to do a really simple, basic drape front vest, which means I'll basically be making a large rectangle, put some armholes in it, and I will let the front drape. However, I'm going to still use kind of that fade stripe pattern. So the plan is to use, you know, one color, let it fade to the neutral, next color, let that fade to the neutral, add another color, let that fade to the neutral again. So I'll always be going back to the neutral in between all of the other colors rather than just fading from, you know, color 1, because I think I'm using about 6 colors. Instead of fading all the way from color 1 to color 6, it'll be like color 2, then color 1, then color 3, then color 1, if you get the idea. However, again, this fingering weight yarn, and this is something that I plan to do in all single crochet again. Although I have to say, working in all single crochet has not been a bad experience. It's funny because my mom is actually working on something now in fingering weight yarn, all double crochet. She tends to work in the heavier weight yarns, and she does some really beautiful designs with those heavyweight yarns. But you know, she's trying something new, kind of. Actually, she said after watching my last video, and it's coming out really nice. She's doing a yoke sweater, but she hates working in single crochet. She agrees that it looks really, really nice, but she just finds it a really slow way to work. I don't necessarily mind that, just because I think all single crochet gives you a beautiful fabric. So I'm going to be doing my draped front vest in all single crochet, and I also think, you know, single crochet is also the best choice for really narrow stripes. So since I'm going to be doing a fade style striping pattern, that's another reason to work in all single crochet. My 3mm hook from Clover and More has shipped, so hopefully I will have it in time to start this, because I think my sweater that I'm making, I'm using a 3.25mm, and I think I really want to work with a 3mm hook. So again, it will be one of these two projects. Sorry, there's a gnat or something in here. One of these two projects will be my next make. I'm leaning towards this just because it's something I'll be able to wear sooner, my draped front vest. However, I might want to work in a stitch other than single crochet, and that's the plan for what I'm going to do with this yarn, which is going to be my mitered square tunic. And so maybe just to change it up a little bit, and because I'm going to have to figure out like how many rows of each color of the mini skeins that I want to use for my mitered square, that's going to take a little bit more work, and I might want to just jump into that and get it out of the way. We'll see, but those are my maker plans at the moment. And so the last thing I wanted to show you guys is my yarn. The yarn came like, I think 2 days ago, and I didn't open it, I didn't touch it, which was really, really hard. I mean, it was a supreme act of will on my part, because I was walking past this box in my house every day, and I wanted to open it, and I didn't. Now, I did cut the packaging open just before filming so that I wouldn't have to do that on camera. But if you remember, the Jimmy's Beans Indie Dyed Club is just a single skein of indie dyed yarn. However, I don't know if it's always going to be fingering weight. I don't know if we'll be getting different weights, but it's one skein of indie dyed yarn and an enamel pin with the logo of the dyer. So I'm gonna bust into this bad boy. I haven't looked at it yet. Okay, it's in plastic. I'm gonna feel it first before I look at it. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, you guys are getting the first look. Ooh, oh, I really like this. So I've never heard of this company. This is Less Traveled Yarn. This is gorgeous. At first glance, I thought it was gray, but it's got so much more going on. It is light blue, light green. There's some maroon in there, a little bit of purple. This is beautiful. I'm actually, this is why I subscribed to a yarn club. I'm so excited because I've never heard of this company, so I would never have come across this on my own. So this is fingering weight. It is merino from Argentina. It is 75% superwash and 25% nylon, and it's 463 yards. And it looks like the color name is Vada Sultan Fuss. So I'm going to see if you can see that, but it's very dark. See that? And I love it. So the company is travelingyarn.com. Let's see if you can see that. And it's hand dyed in Phoenix, Arizona. I love it. I don't have any ideas right now what I'm going to do with it, but this is a color I would wear. This is a color I would buy. This is a color I would wear. So my first order from the Indie Yarn Club was a hit, and anything that has even so much as a hint of purple in it, I'm guaranteed to fall in love with. So let's see their enamel pin. Oh, it's cute. It's very simple. It just has their logo. So it looks like a little van. It says Traveling Yarn and Jimmy's Indie Club. This is perfect. It even kind of coordinates with the yarn. Look at that. This is super cute. And I really, you know what? I haven't really gotten into the whole enamel pin thing. So I'm glad that I'm going to be getting these pins with the yarn. So that means I don't have to choose. I don't have to figure out what pins I want, because there are so many cute ones out there. And so I'm going to get yarn and a pin every month, and I can start a bag with some pins on it. So the Indie Yarn Club is $30 a month. That includes the shipping. In the US, I think it's $40 a month international. That's about right, I think, for one skein of yarn and a pin. And I am absolutely thrilled with my first one. Oh, I just kind of want to hold it. I don't even want to put it down right now. I have to figure out what this is going to be, because I'm not going to let this go to waste. I'm going to use this. I'm going to make something with it. I have to admit, I'm feeling a tiny little bit pressured to use the yarn that I get from the Indie Dyed Club, because that means I'm going to get like 12 skeins a year that won't necessarily, coordinate with each other, and I have to figure out basically 12 things to do with them. But that's fine, because it's so pretty. Look, we got little speckles. Come on. That's freaking gorgeous. So, very, very happy with this. So, like I said, I'm keeping this one short because it's the holiday weekend and I'm going to go hang out. But thanks for watching and stay stitching.